everyone. My name is Eleni Pizzillega from Unravel Biosciences, and we are at the World Orphan Drug Congress with
Ada Leo.
Daniel DeFabio.
Rachel Heilman.
Kevin Fryer.
Zalia Varro.
I'm Colin Worth.
Maria Torrey.
I'm Rachel Vani.
Dylan Ritter.
I'm Emily Durham.
Now, what is your role in the rare disease ecosystem?
So I love the word ecosystem for rare disease. I am the director of research for the Med13L Foundation, and then a founder of the Roy Bell Foundation for NARS1, which is what my daughter had, and pretty much do similar tasks. And then also my background is a pharmacist. I'm a clinical pharmacist by training.
I am the director of scientific engagement and collaboration at Cure BCP Disease.
I work at Global Genes as Director of Community Engagement and Education, but I'm also a rare disease parent. My son Lucas had Menkes syndrome, and I have a film festival about rare diseases and a streaming channel about rare disease stories.
I'm the founder of the Charlie Eleanor Foundation. We're a nonprofit that works to eliminate financial and logistical barriers for patients trying to access care.
I'm a consultant with patient advocacy organizations or pharma companies or biotechs, whoever wants to listen to an old guy with a white beard. I try to share some wisdom. I'm on the board of Rare New England, which is a small nonprofit here in Massachusetts. I also sit on the board of the Society for Participatory Medicine, and our belief is that collaboration is the best medicine.
I'm from the Jackson Laboratory. We work a lot with preclinical drug development, and we're there to help if anyone ever needs anything from the Jackson Laboratory. We're more than happy to help.
Yeah, so I'm the executive director of the ZTTK Sunshine Foundation. It's a patient advocacy group for a neural developmental disorder that my 2.5-year-old son, Luki, has.
I'm a patient advocate. I live with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I've been very active in participating as a consultant to multiple pharma companies.
I am an advocate, and I'm also a scientist, and I work as a scientific director and manager for TBCK and Channeling Hope.
I'm the science director for the Duke15Q Alliance.
What do you think is the biggest unmet patient need right now?
I think the biggest unmet patient need is support, and that can be either through education, financial support. Sometimes it's just not knowing where to get the information that you need. So I think more access to more information and more help for patients.
I think one of the biggest unmet needs is developing therapeutics for a really small patient population. And that's something that we're definitely feeling the squeeze on, especially as government's clamping down on a lot of research and advocacy and any sort of drug development.
Zolia, what motivates you to stay involved in the rare disease space?
I would say what really motivates me is the patients, like hearing patient stories.
When you do drug research, you deal with a lot of numbers. When I got involved with rare diseases, those numbers got very small, but the people got much bigger. I got to know people. I got to know their doctors. I got to really feel this community. And the deeper I've gone into the rare disease community and the more friends I've made, I said, this is like humanity at its rawest.
Definitely the patients. I get to see how the things that happen in the lab end up affecting patients, which is really like the goal of every scientist I know and my goal as an advocate.
So what motivates me is to really fill in this gap that not a lot of people are filling. With our help, hopefully everyone can run a little bit faster to find the treatments for our children.
Being at this conference, but also being involved in so many different groups and hearing a bunch of different ideas and research that's going on, is there any innovation or trend in this space that you are most excited about right now?
I think it's funny that you're asking me about that, because one thing I've gotten to appreciate a lot more is not just focusing on one disorder in one study, but having these studies that look across disorders to find similarities or patterns or trends that can hopefully lead to therapeutics or outcomes that can benefit a lot of disorders rather than just kind of taking it one step at a time. So we're all trying to do the same thing, so doing it together is a little more efficient.
I think AI is going to be a really beneficial tool in combing through all the vast data, but I think we really need to shift towards a qualitative focus or quality of life. Patients, all of us, just really want better quality of life.
How do you think we can ensure equitable access to all patients that have uncommon diseases?
Well, this is a really complicated question, and I don't know that you even have enough like internet usage. Time for it. I think that, you know, one of the first things to really think about is that it really is about the people. It's about the humans. It's about the people that are affected every day, the individuals, the families. And so if you think about it that way, and less about, right, cost and systems and all of the things that we're lacking, then maybe that can help change the dialogue.
I think one element that will help is if we start to do more for the diseases that have a genetic cause. If we can do more newborn screenings, we can discover more patients, and we can discover the diversity of the patient population.
And so, do you think that there are any voices or regions that are currently being underrepresented?
Absolutely. Anybody who's sort of in a healthcare desert, if they're geographically not so convenient to services, they're probably not going to go in for all the tests and all the trials, or their burden of care is so much higher, and so they may choose to do some of it and not all of it. So that's one. And then if your language is not English, your first language is not English, we don't do that great a job of making our health literacy multilingual, or there might be systemic distrust that you don't want to embrace a medical system that hasn't really treated your people very well in the past.
I feel very lucky that my family live in Boston, so we have access to a great medical system, great research ecosystem. You guys are based in the greater Boston area, and we were able to get our diagnosis pretty quickly and have access to top doctors and researchers. But I know there are families even 2 hours away from Boston, let alone in other parts of the world where the medical system, healthcare system might be less developed. They just don't have access to, top-notch healthcare system or even information.
So with the TBCK Foundation, we have a founder mutation in Puerto Rico, so a Boricua mutation, and about a third of our community is actually in Puerto Rico. And working through that healthcare system, getting resources there has been really challenging.
What gives you hope when you think about the future of rare disease development for drugs?
I think one of the things that gives me hope is seeing everybody come together at conferences like this, seeing the interest in having patients in the room, seeing the interest in new technologies with AI, because we have so many things that are available. It's just how do we use them and how do we implement them?
There's people in all different sectors that are all motivated to study these rare diseases. I'm with my organization because my brother's affected, but in each of these different steps, we see people at companies and these rare disease groups and in the government who care, who may not be personally affected. So having people across all walks of life who are committed to helping people like my brother and people in our organization is really encouraging to see.
Finish this sentence in one word. In the next 10 years, I hope the rare disease community will blank.
Collaborate.
Thrive.
Take shorter time to get to a more personalized treatment.
Will lead the way to another frontier in medicine.
To progress and come up with really, really cool, innovative solutions to help patients.
Will thrive.
Collaborate.
Ooh, have more open lines of communication.
All have cures and treatments. 10 years is aggressive. I want to be ambitious.
If you want to just send any messages at all, look into the camera. The viewers are looking at you.
I'm going to say hi to my son, Charlie. How about that?